If you're anything like me, you were excited by how interesting Jedi Fallen Order looked, but didn't know if you'd be able to enjoy it, since you aren't the biggest fan of the Star Wars universe. You'd seen a film or two, but weren't particularly interested in the universe at all. Well, in January, I decided to find out, so join me as we ask the question, can you enjoy Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order without being a Star Wars fan? Ultimately, the short answer is yes. Yes, you can. But you clicked on this video, so you didn't want a short answer. So allow me to go into a bit more depth as I analyse each component of this game, starting with the story. One thing that I had heard before playing Fallen Order is that the story would be a fantastic, emotional journey, whether you liked Star Wars or not. I'm sorry, but I simply don't agree. Calm down, get that finger away from the dislike button and let me explain. I'm not saying that the story is bad. In fact, it's actually quite good. It didn't blow me away, but it's not like I was dreading the cutscenes and I was excited to see where the story would take Cal next. But like I said, it didn't blow me away or anything like that. I don't know, maybe I'm just spoiled. Blockbuster titles such as Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Last of Us have narratives ingrained within them that can rival some of the best movies around. So maybe that makes me not appreciate a solid narrative like this one as much. One thing I will say for sure is that I really liked Cal. He doesn't seem to have that much about him initially, but Respawn handled his character arc superbly, and this is a wonderful example of character development done right. Can you enjoy the story without being a Star Wars fan? Yeah, you can. There are definitely some references that went over my head, and sometimes I was left a little bit confused about certain characters and what they were and why they mattered, etc. But the core of the narrative made sense to me, and to be honest, that's enough. One of the main reasons I wanted to try this game is because I may not be the biggest Star Wars fan, but I am a very big fan of good video games. And that is exactly what this is. It's a good video game. Star Wars is sort of a beginner's guide to video game mechanics, as there's a mashup of multiple different video game mechanics in here. You've got Uncharted style exploration and set pieces, you've got the Dark Souls style combat and bonfire system, you've got the Metroidvania style backtracking and ability acquisition. If you were to pitch this game to me and said it would be a mashup of Uncharted, Dark Souls, Metroid and Star Wars, I'd probably say go for it, to be honest. But on paper, it doesn't sound like it should work as well as it does. But it does work. The mechanics, they all work well together to make a good video game. The point that I'm trying to make here is that if you like video games, but aren't a Star Wars fan, then you will like this. This is a good video game. It's fun, the combat is engaging, the Jedi powers are fluid, especially when fighting the Stormtroopers. That is where the combat really shines. The bonfires always seem to pop up exactly when they're needed. The exploration can feel a little bit clunky, especially when doing one of the many slides you have to do, but basically, if you like games, you'll like this. If you'd heard what I mentioned earlier about the Dark Souls combat beforehand, then you might be a little scared about the difficulty, as some people may not want an extremely hard challenge, and Dark Souls is of course renowned for being extremely difficult, unless you can get good. Well, luckily in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, there is an easy mode. I did play a small section of the game in this difficulty to gauge just how easy it is, and it is really easy. I wouldn't recommend playing it on this difficulty personally, but if you just want to experience a Star Wars story, then it works that way just fine. So, you had the short answer at the start of the video, and now you've got the long answer. You can play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order if you are not a Star Wars fan, and still love it, because I know that I did. I'm sure if you're a Star Wars fan, you will enjoy it as well. You should also all play Titanfall 2, which was also made by Respawn and didn't get anywhere near enough credit that it should have done. But that is all for this video. If you enjoyed it, then please leave a like, as it would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to see more content from me, then don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day everyone, and goodbye.